What is your take on motive here? Why is still the $64 million question.
It's the biggest question, I think, in this case. Why and how did he choose these victims? It is still early for motive, but it's still very early actually to determine or to speak, with confidence about motive. But I think one thing that I haven't heard very much discussion about that came to my mind, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some discussion or exploration of Kohberger, or if he's, the person who did this, as this would be a thrill killing. So, thrill killers, this is hard to understand for most people because they want a clear motive, they want to know why, and thrill killers kill for the excitement of it, and they enjoy the planning of it. They enjoy the stalking ahead of time, which is something that happened. It seems might have happened in this case. It is an excitement. There's a lead up. They often pick people who are strangers to them. The motive is often not sexual, and it is for some type of excitement. And there are other people who absolutely, we know. I could give you an example. The ultimate thrill killer is probably Zodiac Killer. If you recall, Zodiac Killer sought out random people, probably not random in his selection of them, but he killed them. He then wrote letters talking about how much fun it was to kill someone. It was the excitement. It gave him a satisfaction. And so in that way, it's, very senseless. I'm not saying that's definitely the case here. Again, I think it's early, but I just want to put that in the ring as a suggestion because I think that it's possible that there's going to be some findings along those lines.
And Amy, do you agree with that assessment? Do you differ at all?
Yeah, I definitely think there was an element of control. I tend to lean more towards that he perhaps knew one or more of the victims. Maybe not. Maybe they didn't know him, but he knew them. Meaning he may have
Right.
seen one of them. Maybe he only saw them just passing by the house once and looking in, and someone caught his eye for whatever reason. And I don't think there necessarily was a sexual motivation, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they found DNA evidence. I know the timeline is very tight, but we've covered many cases where somebody was brutally killed and there was no seemingly evident, there was no evidence of sexual assault on the victims, but then in the area, you found that, the offender actually did get off sexually after he committed the crime. And I think that's a possibility here as well.
Since you both live in this world, teach this, do you find yourselves being, do you think you're more aware situationally than most other women, Amy?
Yes, I don't think I trust many people because of that, but in a healthy way, I'd say it's made me very aware of the random nature of crime. We study victimology, and we do know that when people are when they're victimized, it's not always random. There are theories that can help us understand, but there are also cases where people are, as Megan pointed out, people are randomly targeted. So, as much as I can prepare or try to protect myself or my loved ones, I'm also very much aware of the fact that there's only so much you could do, unfortunately.
Megan,
And I
how
don't
about
think
you?
oh, sorry. I don't think the victims in the Idaho case were randomly targeted. I agree with you, Amy. I think that if Kohberger is the suspect, he or is the person who committed the crimes. I do think he knew them somehow. I don't think they knew him, and I don't think they were, in having any type of relationship. But yeah, certainly I would agree with that. Being in this field makes me a lot more aware. Yes, I am one of those person who will walk with my keys in my hands. If I walk into a small store, let's say, and it's evening, and I think there's only a couple of people in there and me, I assess like right away. But I was also a federal probation officer, so some of that comes from that training and that as well. When I used to go into a home, you have to assess everything right away. But I think about what's the exit strategy? How do I get out of here if someone comes at me? These things really, I do think about these things probably on a more regular basis than someone who maybe doesn't work in this field, for sure.